everybody? Welcome back to Swanny's X's and O's Lounge. I'm joined by Cooper Helper today. Today we're going to be talking about high school football, college football, NBA, a little bit of NFL, and kind of everything sports. So kind of to start into it, let's talk about the top high school games from last week. We had Carver-Montgomery beating Opelika 44-35. Carver-Montgomery, really good team.
Yeah, they are.
Opelika has, I believe, Malik Autry, Auburn commit 4-star, one of the best in the state. Huge upset here. McGill upsets Spanish Fort 20-14. Can you give me your thoughts about that game?
I really think that McGill defense really got in Aiden Schamberger's head. You know, benched him after the third quarter. Big job from Joseph Huff.
Yeah, absolutely, Joseph Huff.
Big friend back in the golden days. And I really think he led the defense to holding them to 14 points.
Absolutely. I mean, very disappointing game for Spanish Fort on their senior night. I wonder, how do you lose to McGill on your senior night, being the top team you are as, Spanish Fort?
Yeah.
Moving on to Hueytown beating Central Tuscaloosa 28-17. I don't really know much about these teams. Central Tuscaloosa, I know, has had a rough year. It's supposed to be very good, but, kind of just not working out the way they are.
Yeah.
Hoover beating Vestavia Hills. Hoover's a really good football team. They've really improved from last year. I believe they went like 5-7 last year. Really improved to win 38-20 over Vestavia Hills. Now Hewitt-Trussville beating Tuscaloosa County 49-0. Hewitt-Trussville's a great team.
Yes, they are extremely good.
They have Chris Davis's son on the team. I believe you know a few people that go to Hewitt-Trussville.
I think you do too.
Montgomery Catholic beats Andalusia 38-0.
Wow,
very surprising.
That is.
Montgomery Catholic is a very good football team. My personal favorites, I think they will win 5A. I don't know. They've been,
I believe so too.
I believe undefeated, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Andalusia have very, very off-season, losing Jamarian Brunette, the Houston commit. Auburn beating Dothan 42-0. Auburn led by that powerful offensive lineman Hugh Bogdanford.
Yes,
very good.
He actually just got selected to go in the it's Alabama Mississippi All-Star game. I do believe
that's big time. Auburn's kind of going to beat up on every team they play this year.
Yeah.
Auburn is just a legit
have
team.
A chance to win it all.
Absolutely, huge upset. Alma Bryant beating Foley 14-10. I mean, you want to talk about a boring game to watch? You could have traveled back to last Friday and watched Alma Bryant play Foley,
or just any game that Alma Bryant's played.
Exactly, and this is probably one of the most boring games of the week. But Alma Bryant beating Foley,
that's crazy.
Foley's had kind of an off year. They're led by Nelson Thompson. Hasn't really had a great season this year. But Alma Bryant winning. That's surprising. Words I never thought I'd come out of my mouth. Obviously, St. Michael beating Orange Beach. Can you kind of elaborate on that game for me?
I just think a couple turnovers that the defense got is just
absolutely
our offense just grinding and pounding on the offensive side with Noah Moss as the running back.
Absolutely.
Had that 50-yard touchdown. I think that just sealed the game.
Yeah. Orange Beach couldn't really hang with St. Michael in the first half.
Yeah.
It was kind of just a beatdown after that onside kick, and then once they got it back, they fumbled, recovered by the defense, and then, as you said, Noah Moss just sealed the game.
Yeah.
St. Paul's beats Blunt 26-6. If you want to go watch another boring football game, two offenses that aren't really great, but St. Paul's defense is spectacular. Yeah. You want to talk about Tank Jones and any of those guys?
Tank Jones. Me personally, I think he's going to LSU, but I'm a big LSU fan.
Yeah.
Just praying on that, but I think he just leads that St. Paul's defense, and I think they're just a flat-out really good 5A team. Yeah.
Moving on to 3A, TR Miller beats Bayside 43-0 for the area championship. I mean, there's not really much to say about that game.
That was just surprising that Bayside didn't even put up a fight.
Yeah. As I think they call him Mini Derrick Henry from TR Miller.
Yep. Absolutely smoked him.
Moving on to W.S. Neal upsetting Mobile Christian, 34-12. W.S. Neal now gets in the playoffs and knocks out
really
Orange
surprising.
Beach. Very, very crazy game. Mobile Christian's kind of had an off season this year.
Yeah,
nothing really too special from Orange Beach at all, or not from Orange Beach. Excuse me, Mobile Christian.
Well, yeah.
Thompson beats Prattville 42-7. Not really a surprise there. Thompson is best team in 6A.
Yeah.
Hanley beats Booker T 44-40.
That was surprising. I thought Booker T was going to sneak in there. And I was thinking we were going to play them in the first round, host them. But then, Friday after the game, I just looked at my phone. I just see Hanley upsetted Booker T.
Now, Hanley has the most points scored in their region. That's, very, very, very good offense. Mm-hmm. Defense, sub-tier.
Yeah.
But it'll be an interesting battle. Everyone should come to the game next Friday.
7 o'clock.
At St. Michael, 7 o'clock.
At the
Hanley
Nest.
versus St. Michael. First playoff game. Now on to our pick'ems for the week. This week we have St. Michael versus at UMS. Me personally, I got St. Michael on Halloween night.
Yeah, St. Michael's going to win that game.
Yeah. Now moving on to Baker versus Viger. Give me the upset with Baker. Viger's had a really good year this year, but, they really haven't played anybody. They played like Alberta, and they beat Williamson. That's nothing too special, but give me Baker.
I got Viger in this one. I mean, their quarterback, Samuel Dunn, he's just a flat-out stud. Got that offer from Swanny. I mean, that's some
Absolutely.
good
stuff. Now we have Bayside versus Tuscaloosa Academy. All I know is Tuscaloosa Academy is 7-2, I believe. After that disappointing loss for Bayside last week, give me Tuscaloosa Academy.
I'm gonna go with Bayside. I think Bo Miller in the offense. I think after having a 0 on the board, I think they're gonna come back.
Yeah,
and I think they're just gonna nonstop put the pedal to the metal. 50-0 Bayside.
Next, moving on to McGill versus Baldwin County. I got McGill. Baldwin County.
Yeah,
not a very good football team.
I think McGill. I think their defense is just playing too well right now.
Baldwin
County's got just
Huff. Yep.
And Baldwin County's got some athletes, but McGill's they're good right now.
Yeah. Moving on, Davidson versus BC Rain. Another, kind of boring game.
No one's
Defenses are spectacular. Offenses are just not the best to watch. I got BC Rain. Too many studs on defense.
Yeah, I feel that BC Rain's just going to win this one.
Moving on, Foley versus LaFleur. As we say, battle of the trash cans.
Yeah.
Give me LaFleur. Foley had a terrible loss to Alma Bryant. I don't understand how you lose to Alma Bryant, but they somehow did it. So give me LaFleur.
I'm gonna take Foley in this one because of Nelson Thompson solely purpose.
Yep.
He's gonna be a great key to win this game.
Now moving on, we're gonna check out the top college games from the past week. LSU beats Texas A&M 38-23. Come from behind win.
Yeah, I know.
You're an LSU fan. What are your thoughts on that game?
I was actually at a wedding and I was watching the game.
Oh, man.
And we were up 17-7, and then I went to go just hang out, just eat some food, and then next thing I know, it's 28-17, and their backup quarterback scored 3 rushing touchdowns. I was surprised.
Very disappointing game for LSU. My personal player of the game is Marcel Reed, the backup quarterback, as you just said. 62 rushing yards, 70 passing yards, and 3 total touchdowns. Moving on, Vandy versus Texas in a nail-biter. Texas unfortunately came out on top 27-24, ending Vandy's Linsanity run. What were your thoughts on that game?
I really would have liked to see Vandy pull it off, but they got up to the hot start 7-0, and they just kind of didn't score. It was 14-7, and then it just got out of their grasp. But then they recovered it. Then they couldn't recover the onside kick at the end of the game. So,
my player of the game is DeAndre Moore, Texas wide receiver. 6 catches, 97 yards, and 2 touchdowns against a very impressive Vanderbilt defense this year.
Yeah, they played outstanding this year.
Next game, Auburn versus Kentucky. As an Auburn fan, it finally brings me joy to see Auburn finish in the fourth quarter and win a football game. Auburn wins 24-10. Kentucky's, their defense played not as good as they've been playing, against teams like Georgia. But my personal player of the game is Jarquez Hunter with 297 total yards and 2 touchdowns. Moving on, Ole Miss versus Oklahoma. Ole Miss wins 26-14. Oklahoma's not a very good football team.
Yeah.
They've kind of fallen off. Disappointing.
I'm actually surprised Ole Miss didn't win by more, but...
Me as well. My player of the game is Jackson Dart, 22 of 30 for 311 yards and 1 touchdown. Ohio State versus Nebraska. Ohio State got lucky and won this one. I'm very disappointed, but, what is the outlook for Nebraska this season?
I think they got a couple more wins in them. I mean, they've lost terribly to Indiana last week.
Indiana, good football team.
And they're a really good football team. But I think Dylan Raiola, I think he's going to step it up to a whole new level this next couple of weeks. And I think they're going to have a couple good quality wins this next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. My player of the game is Carnell Tate. He had 4 catches, 102 yards, and 1 touchdown. Moving on, Indiana versus Washington. Like you said, Indiana, great football team. Indiana gets to win 31-17. My player of the game is D'Angelo Pons from Indiana. He had 3 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 1 pick six. Next game, Penn State versus Wisconsin. I thought this game was going to be a little bit closer than it was. 28-13, still a close game. Penn State wins it.
Yes.
But, this was kind of one of the games that I kind of had marked on my list for Saturday.
Yeah, for me too. Penn State's played great games all season. I believe they're undefeated.
They are.
Yeah, I mean the record shows they're a good team.
Yeah. My player of the game was Jalen Reed, 4 tackles and a pick six. My player of the week, Swanny's player of the week for college football is Jarquez Hunter, 23 carries, 297 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the win over Kentucky. Now moving on to our college pick'ems for the week. Cooper, you want to start us off? Ohio State versus Penn State.
I'm going to go with the upset and go Penn State here.
Ooh.
It's not really an upset because they're both really good teams, but I think Penn State, they're just going to win.
I got Ohio State. I was looking at a statistic the other day. Penn State hasn't beaten a top 5 team in the past 10 times they played a top 5 team. So give me Ohio State in this one. Ole Miss versus Arkansas. Give me the upset with Arkansas. Arkansas has been playing, kind of surprising football this year. I'm surprised by Arkansas.
I'm gonna go with you on this one. I'm gonna take Arkansas. Ever since that LSU beat Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss have not been the same.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna take Arkansas on this one.
Moving on, Duke versus Miami, an interesting ACC matchup.
Yes.
Give me Miami, but give me Miami by close. It's gonna be a close game. I think so.
I think it's going to be close up until halftime, and then once Cam Ward gets in his groove, it's just going to be blast off, and it's going to be not even close after that
Absolutely. Point. Pitt versus SMU. Give me the Pitt Panthers. 6-0 on the season.
6-0. Wow.
Very surprising. Ranked number 18th in the country. Give me Pitt.
Yeah, I'm going to take Pitt as well. Pitt, yeah.
Give Pitt. Texas A&M versus South Carolina. Give me A&M. A&M's playing high-level football.
I'm going to take A&M as well. They're just playing flat-out awesome right now. Could win the SEC.
Oregon versus Michigan in a big Big Ten matchup. Michigan, disappointing season. They're 5-3, 6-3. I don't know which one, but, just give me Oregon. Oregon's going to kill them.
It's just Oregon.
Georgia versus Florida. I'm going to go with the upset here, and I'm going to pick Florida.
Really?
Florida has nothing to lose. Florida really has had a hard schedule, but they've really DJ Lagway has something to prove, and I think this could be a DJ Lagway legacy game.
Yes, but I just think Georgia's going to be just amazing in this game. I think they're just going to flat out just stomp over Florida.
Iowa State versus Texas Tech. Give me Iowa State. Iowa State's playing high-level football, ranked 11th in the country. Very surprising. I've been very surprised with Iowa State, so give me Iowa State.
I'm going to take Iowa State as well. They've been playing awesome.
Indiana versus Michigan State. Indiana's going to smoke them.
Indiana.
It's not even going to be close.
It's going to be like 40-0 at halftime. It's not even close.
Minnesota versus Illinois. Illinois has been playing great football this year, but give me Minnesota in the koi pond at safety.
Okay.
Very good safety.
I'm going to go with Illinois here. I just love them.
Yeah.
I just love them.
And then kind of one of the not so good matchups this week. Auburn versus Vanderbilt. 11:45 kick at Jordan Hare. Just give me Auburn, I guess. I don't know.
I'm gonna take Vanderbilt this one. I think Diego Pavia is gonna have a game of his life right here and absolutely show out in front of everyone and secure like a top first-round pick here.
Now on to our Heisman rankings of the week. These are kind of interchangeable if you want, but number 1, I got Ashton Jeanty, running back from Boise State. Over 1,300 total yards, 18 touchdowns, and 9 yards per carry. He's putting up video game numbers through, 8 games of the season. That's crazy. My number 2 is Cam Ward of Miami. Cam Ward's playing at a high level.
He's so, nonchalant. It's just, crazy.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
He has 2,746 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, and a 91 QB rating. Travis Hunter, he plays defensive back and wide receiver, a little two-way player for Colorado. 60 receptions, 757 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he's an outstanding player. He's
Absolutely.
an outstanding player.
Then we go Dylan Gabriel, quarterback from Oregon. 2,371 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, and an 85.5 QBR.
I think he's a great quarterback. I don't think the first 2 games show him any respect for how good he is.
He's very talented. Moving on, kind of a sleeper pick here. I got Caleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. 146 carries, 1,144 yards, total yards, 16 touchdowns, and 8 yards per carry.
Wow, I mean, that's like almost Ashton Genty numbers, but it's not as. It's just Ashton Genty's like crazy right now. He's going
exactly,
crazy.
And Caleb Johnson plays on a sub-tier Iowa squad. So, then my number 6, I have Dylan Sampson, running back out of Tennessee, 144 carries, 838 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 6 yards per carry. I mean, you might be asking yourself, well, why doesn't he have the same numbers as Caleb Johnson or Genty? Because Tennessee has too many weapons.
They do.
And that's still amazing numbers. 17 touchdowns when you only have 144 carries and 838 yards is pretty impressive.
Yeah, when you have a quarterback like Nico Ilimayava, or however you say his last name.
Absolutely.
You gotta air the ball out, and he's shown it this past couple of weeks.
Then I have at my last spot Cade Klubnik, quarterback out of Clemson. He kind of snuck into my top 10 here, but he's had a very impressive season. Over 1,800 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and an 87.4 QBR. I mean, Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely impressive. He's similar to Gabriel Cade Klubnik. Didn't have the strongest of starts to start the season, but then absolutely kicked it off. Kicked it off.
Especially that Georgia game was kind of a rough patch for him.
It was a rough game.
Now moving on to college basketball. College basketball just kind of starting now. You had some exhibition games over the weekend and over the Monday and Tuesday. But, I'm excited for this basketball season.
I am too.
I'm intrigued. We have a top 25. Number 1, Kansas, just to name a few. Number 2, Alabama. UConn at 3. Houston at 4. Iowa State sneaking in there at 5 after a great season last year and a great tournament run. And then you have, like Gonzaga, Duke, Baylor, North Carolina, Arizona, Auburn, Tennessee, and Texas A&M to kind of round out the top 13. I'm going to be very impressed with the SEC this year. So many ranked teams, and then just the strength of schedule for each SEC team is very, very tough. If we had to pick conference winners today, my conference winner from the SEC is Auburn.
I would pick Alabama. I just think
they're
Nate
very
Oates,
solid team.
I think he's one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. And I just think LeBaron Philon, he's going absolute crazy this year.
Absolutely. Great game against Memphis, actually.
Yeah, he had a great game.
And then moving on to the ACC, my ACC winner, I would have to choose Duke. They're just stacked, They're getting the Boozer twins next year, and they also have Cooper Flagg, and their roster's just loaded.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you and pick Duke. I mean, in their expedition game, Cooper Flagg went off, and then their center. I don't even know what his name is or how you say it.
I really don't know.
But it's a brand new guy from Africa, and he's 7'4", and he's absolutely crazy.
Raw.
Yeah.
My Big 12 winner, I'm going to have to pick Iowa State. Iowa State's just too good of a team.
They're a great team.
I think they can beat the Kansases and, all those teams that are kind of at the top. But
not as good.
Don't sleep on Iowa. Do not sleep on Iowa State.
Yes.
Who would you have winning your Big 12?
I'm going to agree with you on
Iowa State.
Yeah. They're ranked number top 5. They're ranked in the 5 spot for a reason.
My Big 10 winner is Illinois. Illinois had a great season last year. Didn't sneak into the top 25 this year, but there's not really any team in the Big Ten that's, kind of good enough to compete at a high level. So just give me Illinois.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Illinois as well.
My Big East winner, it's pretty clear UConn, Dan Hurley.
Absolutely great coach as well.
They're just the best team in college basketball right now. My Mountain West winner is Utah State. I almost chose New Mexico after, kind of how well they played last year. But,
I'm going to have to pick New Mexico on this one. I don't know much about the Mountain West, but I just know New Mexico is always going to play good.
Absolutely. My Sun Belt winner, this might come as a surprise, South Alabama. That's all I got to say.
I'm going to have to, who am I going to go with on this one? I think I'm going to have to go with Southern Miss on this one. It's a great team. It's a great team.
Appalachian State also one of the top Sun Belt teams. Now moving on to kind of the March Madness kind of early pick'ems. My March Madness winner is, I hate to say it, Alabama. Alabama's just too good of a basketball team. They finally rounded out, finally got themselves a big man. Yeah. And I don't really see anybody stopping the tide.
I think Duke's gonna win it all. I don't think it's even gonna be close either. I think it's gonna be they're gonna lose 2 games maximum this season.
Yeah.
It's gonna it's going to be a great year for the Duke Blue Devils.
Kind of just more contenders for a title I see this year is Bama, UConn, Kansas, Duke, Houston, Iowa State, Auburn, North Carolina, Arizona. Arizona, really good squad with Caleb Love.
Yes.
Very good squad. Now moving on to the NFL. If you want to go check out the NFL scores and pick 'em, check out Franklin's podcast. But here's the MVP race so far for me. I've got Lamar Jackson at 1.
Yes, he has played great.
2,099 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, leads the league in touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 74.9 QBR. Very impressive.
Very impressive.
My number 2 is Josh Allen. He has been my biggest surprise this year.
Only throwing 1 interception this season. That's crazy.
He has 1,766 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception, as Cooper said. I mean, through 7 games last year. We're through 7 games now, but he's only thrown 1 interception through 7 games.
He's never been this low.
Last year, he threw 7 interceptions through 7 games. If you really look at it, that's an interception a game.
I don't even think at Wyoming he was doing that good.
No. Yeah. And a 73.7 QBR for Josh Allen. Number 3, I had to sneak Jamar Chase in there somewhere. Wide receiver from the Bengals. 48 receptions, 674 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns. I mean, he really has emerged as one of the top receivers in the league. It's kind of him and Justin Jefferson and then everybody else.
Yeah. I have to point out they're both LSU boys right there.
Oh, my gosh.
Wide receiver, you, baby.
Then at my last spot, I have Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's been playing excellent,
Yes.
Running back for the Ravens, 145 carries, 946 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 6.5 yards per carry.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever had this good of a production at the Titans. I mean, the Ravens' offense, everything's just clicking for them. They're going to have a really good run for the Super Bowl race this year.
Absolutely. I believe the Ravens could win the Super Bowl. Yeah. Now on to our fantasy football starts and sits. This week, I start Bo Nix at the Ravens. Bo Nix really had a great year. First part of the season was a little rough, but now he's really kind of emerged himself as, possibly an Offensive Rookie of the Year candidate.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
My sit is Geno Smith versus the Rams. He's been playing a little off lately, but, Rams defense played very, very well. I believe it was against the Vikings.
Yes.
They played very well against the Vikings. Well. My start is Cade Otton versus the Chiefs. Buccaneers have literally 0 receivers. I mean, they have Trey Palmer, and I don't even know the other dude's name.
If you want to know stats for Cade Otton, he just put up 29.3 points. And it wasn't even funny. He had 20 points through the first half. It was absolutely magnificent.
Start Cade Otton. I mean, the Chiefs' run defense is too good.
Yeah.
And their pass defense is pretty mediocre. So start Cade Otton, please.
Yes.
I would sit Rachaad White, as I said. The Chiefs have the number 1 ranked run defense in the league. There's not going to be much run production, but give me Rachaad White versus the Chiefs. And then I say start Saquon Barkley versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville, they really do stink. I mean, there's not much I can say about Jacksonville.
I mean, what are they, 1-6, something like that?
They're on the Panthers level, which is I don't know how you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, Jacksonville thought they were going to get good out of Trevor Lawrence with that brand new contract.
Nope.
It was just not good at all.
No.
But Brian Thomas Jr., another LSU wide receiver, you.
And then I'm sitting any Ravens receiver. They just got the new addition of Deontay Johnson, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, but Broncos' pass coverage is too good. Pat Surtain and all those DBs. I mean, they've been eating receivers for lunch.
Yeah.
So just give me just sit any Ravens receiver. But then kind of going off of that, start Derrick Henry. I mean, he's probably going to get the workload versus the Broncos. He's the best running back in the league right now, and if not one of the best players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Now moving on to some NBA scores. We have the NBA starting up. NBA scores and some news. Celtics versus Bucks. Celtics got the win, 119-108. The Cavs versus the Knicks. Cavs win, 110-104. Wizards versus Hawks. Wizards win, 121-119. Heat versus Pistons. Heat win, 106-98. And Magic versus Pacers. Magic win, 119-115. With Paulo Banchero having a really good game. 50 points, I believe.
Something I'd like to point out with the Magic is every time they win, they post a little song. Go look it up. It's like Orlando Magic song. And I see it every day on my Instagram feed. Every time they win, it's a beautiful song. So I love to see the Magic win.
kind of with the NBA season starting up, there are some top players that I'm really looking at, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You know, last year 30 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 6 assists. You know, like Jason Tatum, obviously 27 points per game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Luka Doncic, I mean, should have won last year, but it's whatever.
Agree. I think Luka Doncic has a chance to go for a 70-point game this season. He has a
34 points per game, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists per game.
That's crazy.
That's insane. And then Giannis, Giannis always produces 30 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists last year.
He's gonna have to carry the Bucks this year.
And then one dark horse MVP, I think it's sneak in, is Jaylen Brown.
Because you're a Celtics fan, I just know it is.
Last year, 23 points per game, 6 rebounds a game, and 4 assists, and at times was playing better than Jason Tatum and Porzingis and Derek White.
He is a really good player, but instead of that, I'm gonna sneak in Zion Williamson in there.
Okay,
you know.
Zion didn't really do much last year, but came back for the playoffs and almost won the Pelicans.
Yeah, I know.
Briefly on the MLB World Series, Dodgers lead 3-1. It's been really boring.
It has been. The only thing really exciting about it is the Yankees win last night.
Yeah.
I mean,
grand slam. I saw that last night.
Yeah. I mean, the Yankees have finally starting to put together a team, but I think it's just too late. I think the Dodgers are about to win this in the next game or two.
Yankees, as Cooper said, avoided the sweep last night. Not very interesting. But the question to ponder on is, can New York come back with Game 5?
That would be crazy. I don't see it happening, but crazier things have happened in this world.
Yeah, but I just think the Dodgers are way too good.
Yeah,
I mean they're loaded. They literally have Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman's going off. He hurt his ankle too. Have you heard the story?
I have not.
I think it was the AL. There was a wild card round or something. He twisted his ankle and he had to go to the hospital or something.
Oh man,
he has to take pain meds before the game. It's crazy.
Maybe that ankle is driving him to be one of the greatest baseball players of all time right now.
Yeah.
He's my personal pick for World Series MVP with 3 home runs and a walk-off grand slam.
Freddie Freeman's just playing flat out amazing.
I mean, he's probably one of the greatest players of MLB history.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching Swanny's X's and O's Lounge.
This has been
Next to Swanson and Cooper Helper. Cooper, great to have you on.
Great to have me.
See you guys next week.